Hey, what's up guys, and welcome to my review of My Hero Academia Heroes Rising, the brand new movie that's hitting theaters today. This is going to be a non-spoiler review. Mainly I'm just going to go over what my thoughts were on the movie, how I enjoyed it, if the animation was good, but I'm really not going to dive into plot or anything like that because I don't want to ruin it for people who haven't seen it. It's going to be in theaters for, I think, just a little over a week. Tons of showtimes because I think theaters learned from the very first My Hero Academia movie. At least where I go to watch movies, the movie is only slated to be shown for 1 or 2 days, and the massive amount of crowds that gathered around to watch this movie, and they even made t-shirts for the movie right here. This is this year's. They made some for last year's movie. I think the theaters were a little overwhelmed. They weren't expecting this much of a turnout. But I think they learned their lesson, especially after the Dragon Ball Broly movie. The Dragon Ball Broly movie was only supposed to be in theaters for about a week. I saw it in theaters for about a month because it did so well. And I think theaters are starting to wisen up to the supply and demand. Like, the demand for anime right now, especially My Hero Academia, it's one of the most popular animes out there, is very, very high. So the stock price of anime right now is booming. And I think theaters are finally aware of that fact. Now, without further ado, here are my thoughts on the My Hero Academia Heroes Rising movie. Now, we're all used to the typical 20 to 23 minute episodes of anime, per se, minus the 7 minutes of commercial time, which if you're watching on Crunchyroll or Verve, you're not getting any of that. So typically between 20 to 23 minutes is your average anime episode. So it's very nice because sometimes you want that longing for more. Sometimes the season is over and you don't get more of your favorite anime show. But My Hero Academia Heroes Rising is slated at about an hour and 44 minutes. So that's kind of a hefty movie when it comes to animation. Which, if you're a My Hero fan and you are super eager to watch this movie, that's a good thing because the more anime the better, in my opinion. Now the theaters will be showing it in subbed and dubbed for all the American dubbed fans. My personal preference is I like watching subs because I like to listen to the original voice actors in Japan. I don't really mind reading subtitles, pretty fast reader, so that doesn't bother me. But I will say that I am going to watch both versions of it. I saw the dubbed version because that's the version that was readily available to me at the time. That's just the time slot that I watched it in. But I'm definitely going to go back for a second viewing with the sub version because that is my bread and butter. That is where I love to watch anime in its purest form. I'm not an elitist or anything. That's just my personal preference. I know everybody has a personal preference. If you started watching the anime on dub, then you're probably going to want to watch the dub because you're used to the voices that you started watching the anime on. Now, the main antagonist in this movie is a character named Nine. Now, he does not appear up to season 4 of the anime, so I am thinking that this villain is just for the movie itself. I don't think he's going to be included into the anime going forward. And that's another thing too. The timeline of this movie is a little weird. If you are caught up with the anime and even with some of the manga, then I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you will quickly realize when you watch this movie that the timeline is a little off. Because some of the quirks that Deku shows in this movie aren't in the show, and some of the powers that he acquires in the manga aren't exactly in this movie either. So it's neither past or present or future, so it's kind of like in limbo right now with the anime and the manga. But it's really interesting. It doesn't take anything away from the experience of the movie, but it does leave you wondering if you are well aware of the anime and the manga. In my opinion, this movie took a page out of the Dragon Ball Broly movie. There was quite a bit of dialogue at the beginning. It started off rather slow, but it quickly ramped up, and I want to say a good half of the movie was non-stop action. There were a ton of instances where it was just like non-stop action, and I want to say that over half of the movie was just battles. And that is awesome because I really like being on the edge of my seat, especially when it comes to anime. So the movie is about an hour and 44 minutes, and it doesn't feel like it's that long at all because these battles just keep you on the edge of your seat. And it leaves you wanting more, and then the movie delivers with more action, like non-stop action. It's not a complaint. There was quite a bit of dialogue at the beginning of the movie, and it made up for it. But the majority of the movie, I will warn you, is non-stop action, which is not a bad thing in my opinion. Some people may not like the pacing, but I think it was awesome. Now, we all know that Deku and Bakugo are like the Goku and Vegeta of the My Hero Academia world, and it's inevitable there's going to be conflict there just because of the power struggle, Bakugo's arrogance, and just need to be number one. Deku's abilities that he's developing at such a rapid pace, and of course it's going to be like a competition when it comes to Bakugo. It's the classic Goku and Vegeta. But I will say in this movie, just like Vegeta has been developed in Dragon Ball, his character is constantly progressing. I think we see a little bit of Bakugo maturing and progressing in this movie as well. Now, I'm trying to expand and elaborate on these character developments without actually giving you too much of the story and just leading you on to what the plot is, because I'm trying my best to be a spoiler-free review. But I will say that Bakugo does get quite a bit of character development in this movie, and it's a nice, refreshing touch from the anime. Now, I'm sorry if I'm comparing this a lot to Dragon Ball, but it just gave me such Dragon Ball vibes. Like, the Goku and Vegeta relationship is exactly how Deku and Bakugo are, and I think that's a good thing. The animation was, of course, stellar. It was on point. I don't think we could have expected anything less with the amount of popularity that My Hero Academia has gained. And with growing popularity, that usually means more dinero, more money towards budgets, and of course it's a movie budget, so the animation was intense. It was so nice. Especially the battles, man. That final battle, I will not say what happens, who was in the final battle, or how it ends, but the animation in that final battle was just amazing. Like, I want to say, if you watch the very first My Hero Academia movie, that final battle with Deku, the villain, and All Might, I think it even has that beat. Like, when I remember watching that final battle, and I was just amazed at how awesome and crisp the animation was. And this actually, in my opinion, beats it, so be excited for that. I also like that this movie focuses more on the heroes that we all know and love, but it doesn't focus on the pro heroes at all. And I think this gives the students of 1A their time to shine, their time in the spotlight, because sometimes things may seem bleak whenever they're out doing battles and battling villains. And there's a lot of times where a pro hero comes and saves the day, but that doesn't seem to be the case with this movie at all. And it's a nice, refreshing change of pace, because we really want to see what these kids are made out of, and we want to focus more on the future generations of heroes. Pro heroes are cool and all, but there's going to come a time where the kids from 1A and all the other classes are going to have to step up and fight those battles. So straying away from the pro heroes was a good strategy, in my opinion, with this movie. They really gave each student in 1A their individual time to shine, and that was also nice, because a lot of the characters in 1A don't usually get a lot of the spotlight, and I feel like in this movie they tried their best to give everybody a little bit of shine, and that's also really refreshing and nice. So I think you guys will enjoy that as well, because I did. Now, I'm gonna end this very vague and ambiguous review on a high note. I'm gonna have to give this movie a 9 out of 10. I definitely recommend you guys go out and watch it, especially if you are big fans of My Hero Academia. It's a must. You cannot go without seeing this movie. High 9 out of 10, and that is all I'm gonna say, because it releases in theaters today. Go out and see it, buy a t-shirt, and support My Hero Academia, because honestly, in my opinion, it's a really, really good anime. I know it gets a lot of hate from the anime elitists, but I mean, if you enjoy it, then enjoy it. I know I do, so just go out and watch this movie. Anyways, that's all the time I have for this review, guys. I hope you enjoyed what I had to say. Go out and watch that movie, and once you do, leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you thought about the movie. Was I right? Was I wrong? Just let me know. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Oh, and I guess my quirk is editing videos at 7 in the morning. I'm tired. Proceed.